Alright, people of the world, welcome on in, welcome on in. Well, more to the point, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we have a bit, we have some adjusted audio, somewhat, on this old rig. And, more to the point, tonight is Poppy Playtime, Chapter 5. You can see my stats up at the top left for reference: an RTX 5070, a Ryzen 5900X. It is alright. The downside is I'm only on 16 gigabytes of RAM, so I'm not able to do nearly as much as I used to with this rig. Unfortunately, it's become a pain in the ass. Because I'm not... When it comes to editing and doing thumbnail stuff, I have a little bit less, a fair bit less freedom. Some of the thumbnail things that I've done in the past have easily went over 20 gigabytes of RAM. And that's just for doing thumbnail. Simply down to the point, I don't use things like Photoshop. I'm using video effects and other such things for thumbnails and that. But anyway, you can see the stats up there. Did this just not sync my save because it says new game? Wait a minute. Oh, crap. Oh no! They save the cloud. I didn't save the cloud. Oh my god. This is... There we go. Yeah, no, we have to start all over again until I get the old rig back up and running. Not okay with this. I was worried something like this would happen. I was very worried something like this would happen. And unfortunately, it did. There we go. This is now way less intense now that I know what goes on. But anyway, yeah, we have to go up here. It is such a big problem. I didn't think it would cloud. It didn't cloud save. So my only option until I'm gonna have to take a week off. I'm gonna have to take a week off of doing Poppy at least. And just wait. There we go. To be fair, that also isn't the way we done it last time. Oh, thank you, Huggy Wuggy. Oh. That one is on me. Oh yeah, we gotta go through this thing again. Ugh. Right. The good part about this Is I already know what the piss I'm doing. There we go. Now I can see a bit better. That's right. Turn them files, boy. Whoa, pardon me. It just wants me to turn into the right position. Which, not gonna lie, I think is a bit of a weird move, but at the same time, I get it. I get it. It's for the cutscene. Oh. I forgot to turn right. Because the cutscene plays and Huggy Wuggy boss sound like the Kool-Aid man. And you go forward and go right. Get up. We are not done yet. I'm also honestly shocked this game never cloud saved. Also, for sanity's sake, I'm turning my black levels up. Boy. Just for this time, this will be a short stream. This will genuinely be a short stream. It will be a very short stream. One second, chat. I'm just explaining why I have to frickin' start from the beginning. And that's why we have to avoid Huggy Wuggy. There it is. Yeah, Huggy was sitting there watching. Yeah, just so chat knows, we're having to start again. Why have we got closed captions? I was under the assumption that Steam would cloud saving would automatically happen. Because it has done for every game we've played so far. Forza's done it. I was on Forza, when was it? Yesterday. No, not yesterday, the day before. No, it was yesterday as well. My save data was on the cloud. I was assuming that... Why the hell has Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon got an update? Why has everything got an update right now? Oh my god. Yeah, basically... Woo. Yeah, basically I have to redo this, but I will be taking a week off from Poppy. Actually, I'll be taking a time off from Poppy until the rig's back up. Because the fact it never cloud saved by default when it should have, it just goes to show there's something very wrong. Da 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 da. Oh look, it's a saucy backup Brainrot game. This one's fine. Overall, chapter 5 is actually pretty good. The reason I'm back here instead of further on in the game is an issue that I had. So my last... This is actually my backup rig. And unbeknownst to me, it didn't cross-save. Or didn't store the save in the cloud. When it should have. So... Yeah, so TLDR of the situation is, I had my old rig died, probably due to me, because I changed thermal paste, got thermal paste on the motherboard, tried to clean it, and the cleaning stuff I used might have been the thing that killed the board. Just put it out there. Luckily for me, I hadn't sold my old parts yet, so I reassembled my old rig, and everything seemed all hunky-dory. My old saves fired up for some of the games that I played normally. And bada bing, bada boom, I thought I was off to the races until tonight. My Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 save didn't go to the cloud like it should have. Or it didn't have a backup in the cloud like it should have. So I'm stuck starting from the beginning. I was actually most of the way through when I last played. Thinking of a Sonic crossover series inspired by Super Mario Bros. Z, except with no Mario, only Sonic, and it's a multi-series crossover. That's something I haven't seen in a very long time. Oh. Super Mario Bros. Z was around. Super Mario Bros. Z was fresh when I was first starting off YouTube back in 09. Okay, so I'm not actually meant to go down there. I never thought of trying that until now. That did do something. Turn on the lights to navigate, yada yada yada, we know this. Power on! Yeah, and that door's locked, that door's locked too, so we have to go back. We have to go back to that hole. Or not. I'll go back, yeah, we go back to this hole here. But we have to listen to what happens. This is like to do Super Mario Bros. Z Sonic. The Amazing World of Gumball and Reboot. I don't know what any of that is. I don't know what the Amazing World of Gumball is or Reboot. Let's bring this down a bit. There we go. Oh, because I was meant to go this way. This is probably going to be very dark for some people. Right, let me see. So that's all. We need to get in there to get the key. It is also ridiculously dark to see. Even though Big Gamma and all that's cranked all the way up. Oh my god. At least they gave me a way to do things. Yeah, a lot of the younger generation stuff's all lost on me on. Whether that's good or not. Cause I'm obviously a much older person. Will you stop scratching my face? There we go. What? I didn't see that. I got really bit of a gumball, man. It seems like you're not really college of a Cartoon Network or really cartoons in general. I mean, depending. If it was from the mid 1990s, then sure, I probably know it, like Johnny Bravo, Cow and Chicken, Ed, Nettie, that kind of stuff. Did something just go out? Man, these things want to tear my face off. What is the point in this room? There's nothing in here. Yeah, they're not in here for me to take. Power is actually. I need to wait for this to fade. Because if I go back again, I'm just gonna die. Son of a gun. We're almost to the end. We're actually nowhere near the end, actually. See, that's the thing about this game. There's another 5 or 6 hours to it, give or take. Depending on how long I've put into it so far. Yeah, because it's not up here. Ow. I might have just flashbanged myself. This is so bloody dark and my thing's all the way up. Where am I still? There we are. This does nothing! All it does is service for the menus. I mean, we have this. Okay, fine, not that way then. Jeez. Heh, you better run, punk. Where were you hiding? Also. That little thing chose violence. Ha ha ha. We got him. Give me the light. Yeah, this is kind of... I wouldn't say this is nostalgic in the slightest. Wait, what? What's the point in making this movie if that's not going to open? Anyway, back to the window. Never mind. Oh. Of course this happens. The biggest D move this game could have done is given this flashlight a battery life. That's right, run, boy. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it wants us to go all the way back through here again. Love that. Boy, I swear, I will flash this light on you. I have my light on you. Get away. Get away. Boy. What? How are you getting me when I flash the light on you? What happened? But yeah, no, in terms of like older cartoons, Gumball seems out of my range. The Amazing World of Gumball. Let's see. When did this come out? Oh God! Yeah, no, I was definitely not a child in 2011. I was very much out of high school by then. 1000% out of high school by then. Actually, I was finishing high school. I had prom in 2011. I was class of 2011. So for me, my cartoons, when I got to see them, I was actively watching, as a little kid, a very young kid, I was watching things like Thomas the Tank Engine, the actual original series with these models, and it wasn't CG. I was watching things like, whenever it came on, I would look at things like not Ed, and Eddie, that was a little bit later. Cow and Chicken, Courage the Cowardly Dog. Later on, when I was a little bit older and we had access to more channels, I came across Yu-Gi-Oh! I came across Beyblade. I came across Dragon Ball. Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry is a very good one that can be watched by anyone. There was also things like Pingu. Pingu is a very good one. But ultimately, I'm taking these keys. But ultimately, yeah, that kind of stuff was way out of my range. I mean, I had access to a lot, kind of, growing up. So things like in terms of overall shows, I could generally almost watch what I wanted. Kind of. Oh. But the main stuff I would go for, would, especially when I was younger, would be Beyblade. Like, without... I have a master key. How is this not opening? So it'd be like Beyblade was the main, along with Dragon Ball, along with Yu-Gi-Oh! Whenever I could catch that. But if I was specifically watching Cartoon Network, the thing is, I never saw Dragon Ball on Cartoon Network. It was always, or was it? Cartoon Network had the Toonami section. So from a certain time, there would be a thing called Toonami. We never got, as far as I remember, we never got the same kind of promos that America got. It mean. Yeah, we're back here. Let's go. Hype. Love that for us. This reminds me of Johnny 5 after he gets injured and he's got low battery. And he gets that massive ass makeover.
You alright?
Da 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 da.
You're the one they've been talking about. The one who put mommy in the grinder. Who gave the cat a nap? Down here, they're calling you the Playtime Butcher. What are you doing all the way down here? Is Poppy... I mean... You were with her, right? And the rest of them? Up at Safe Haven? I heard things. We can't stay here. I got a place. Just follow me.
Oh, let me grab this drink real quick.
My name's Gimlet. I knew Poppy back before everything.
Alright, Giblet.
Gonna blow this place up? Her heart's always been in the right place, but that girl's been behind glass too long.
I'm glad he can open that, because I don't have a grab bag. I don't get that till a little bit later on. It is quite fun, though, because there's a lot more at risk when it comes to this kind of thing. Right. Pardon me. This is gonna be an unexpectedly short stream because I didn't think this kind of thing would happen. So if you haven't been following along, this stream's actually I'm gonna rename this stream later on because this is not the true definitive episode 6, not by a long shot. In fact, I'm gonna rename it now. Because I have that bloody ability, don't I? There we go. It's no longer chapter 6. It's no longer episode 6. It is now Mistakingly Redux, because we've accidentally went back and redone it. So, this will be the third time I've said it. The game didn't cloud save. It honestly didn't. And that's got me personally ticked off. Because my games are supposed to... The game's saved data is supposed to get saved to the device and the cloud. Whenever you access the game, it pulls the data, the saved data in from the cloud, and then it syncs it up. This didn't happen this time around. Ooh. What is the sweetener in this? Sucralose. Sucralose is a very potent sweetener. It is quite fantastic. But no, more to the point. My save data didn't go to the cloud, which meant whenever I went to another operating system, it didn't pull the data down. So, just for extra context, once again, my other rig died. More than likely because of me. I thought my thermal paste application was a bit naff, so I went and got more thermal paste, cleaned off the old stuff, put the new stuff on, but a little bit of thermal paste leaked out from the little lid because I wasn't absolutely careful, and it leaked out in the motherboard. That in its own right wouldn't have done anything because Thermal Grizzly's Journal, I don't think is electrically conductive. Let's see. No, 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 no. Thermal Grizzly Duranaut is electrically non-conductive, making it safe to use without the risk of short circuit in components. So, my initial thought is that the thermal paste might have been conductive and killed something on the board. That might not be the case anymore. Actually, it's not even the case. I've done something. The board no longer gets power, unfortunately. Or it does. It's a bit weird. Because when all this happened, I had the motherboard all laid out, bare, on this box, and I hooked power up to it. I had RAM in, I had the CPU in, all that kind of good stuff. Only the bare essentials, the Jungle Book bare necessities were connected. I flipped the switch on the power supply, I pushed the power button on the motherboard, boom. Nothing. Nothing. I go to check for dead memory channels. I take my RAM sticks out of slots A2 and B2. Stick them in A1, B1. I get an orange light on the motherboard, which means the board is receiving power. But it's not receiving enough power. It may not be receiving enough power to fully power on. Or there's one of two things that could be happening. One, CPU's dead. Two, I've killed memory channels on the board. This motherboard will not boot if there's memory in just banks A1 and slots A1, B1. I get a RAM error LED, which means it's detecting they're in the wrong slots. So there's power going on the board, but I can't boot. I can't power on. So it is very interesting. Something's either come off the board or damaged on the board. I don't know. I really don't. So that motherboard is dead, probably due to my own tomfoolery. So I'm gonna have to wait. There will be no Poppy Playtime on this channel again until I get another motherboard and get my rig back up and running again. The way I'm gonna test things is the motherboard. I get the motherboard, I strip the power supply out of this rig, right next to me. I get everything all safely hooked up, and I back away as I push a power button. If it fires up, hell yeah! We in business, boys! If it doesn't, it's going to be either down to the CPU or RAM. And RAM is very expensive right now. So, when it all comes down to it, at the end of it, I might end up with a whole bunch of parts. Going through the return process is not really. I mean, it'll just take too long. So I can build a separate rig out of any spare parts. But point being, point being, the rig that I previously built was an extremely is a very good rig by all intent and purposes, and for it to just die like that. The only thing that really got fiddled with was the motherboard. Some thermal paste did get on the CPU, like actually on the circuit board itself. But one, the thermal paste is non-conductive, as we looked up, and there's also a protective goop, a protective silicon layer or something over the SMDs on the CPU itself, so those wouldn't be touched, and that shouldn't be a problem. So I'm probably putting it down to something's come. I've either shorted something on the motherboard or something's come off the motherboard and preventing a boot. So I don't know. My biggest claim right now is just the motherboard, and that's what I'm sticking with. If it turns out to be something else, boy howdy, am I gonna sit in the corner and cry, because that is insanity. That is insanity, and not a fan of that one. But no, we're gonna check now. Now that at this point we're wrapping things up, we're gonna finalize. Oh, not finalize. We're gonna go check the poll that's on the channel. Yeah. I'm gonna double check the poll that's up on Twitter. If you're not following me on Twitter, by howdy. Why have I got notifications? Oh my god. Past is a robot that inputs PP and outputs PP. Oh no. Well, dadgummit. Sorry, ADHD moment. ADHD moment. One second. Post. Ultimately, on YouTube, there are 5 votes. 1 for Final Fantasy X, 1 for Sonic 2, because the choices are whatever you want. Sonic 2, Final Fantasy X, and Pokemon Emerald. Pokemon Emerald on YouTube has 3 votes. Now let's go ahead and check the poll that's on Le Twitter. Okay, so we got no. We got no votes on Twitter. People have seen it, but they're not voting. So, 1 vote for Final Fantasy X, 1 vote for Sonic 2, and 3 votes for Pokemon Emerald. That's what we're doing tomorrow. Pokemon Emerald on the GameCube. Now, if you're new around here and you may be wondering, hey, wait a minute, Pokemon Emerald, not only is that old, but that's a Game Boy Advance game. How are you playing that? Are you emulating? Nah, we're not emulating. I have a GameCube, and said GameCube has the Game Boy player, and we're going to use the Game Boy player plus homebrew called GBI player to allow me to use the Game Boy player without the need of a boot disc for the Game Boy player. Because if you didn't know, the Game Boy player for GameCube, there's a lot of games here. The GBA player for GameCube needed a boot disc in order for you to use it with your Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games. Not Game Boy Advance video cartridges. Definitely not. That tastes so sweet! With no sugar in there. Good lord. So, yeah, tomorrow, Pokemon Emerald on the GameCube via the Game Boy player. We're playing directly off of the cartridge. Any anytime we save the game, it's being saved to the cartridge. Yes, we're using a bootleg cartridge. I know for a fact it's a bootleg cartridge. You got the infamous black goo puddle or black blob on the inside of the cartridge, which is where the battery should be, but it's instead some sort of memory chip that is where the data is written to for a save. But without further ado, what the hell? Without further ado, tomorrow Pokemon Emerald, Friday Forza Horizon 5. Now Forza Horizon 5 is going to really test what this RAM limited rig can do. Obviously, Poppy's Playtime isn't as open world and as massive as Forza Horizon 5, but it's still a graphically intense game. Graphically intense game hits the graphics card more, which is fine. But it also seems to be using up less RAM under this very explicit stream load. So you got to keep that one in mind. I'm going to say we're going to get about 80 frames per second on Forza Horizon 5. Just simply down to the fact we're limited on RAM and my processor is a bit on the older side at this point in time. So that's my estimation. I haven't actually ran this rig, or haven't actually ran Forza Horizon 5 under stream conditions with 16 gigabytes of RAM, because, or have I? Have I? When I started streaming, I had 16 gigs. Yeah, I've not ran 5 under 16 gigs on a stream load. I've ran other games under that. Because by the time I bought Forza Horizon 5 and had my rig in a stable, or in a way that could boot the game, because ever since 5 came out, I had a problem running the game. Turns out my firewall was blocking things, or the third-party firewall I had installed was blocking a whole lot of stuff it shouldn't be. So the game just outright wouldn't boot, and I didn't know at the time. Anyway, that being said, I'm very curious to see how the game runs under stream conditions with just 16 gigabytes of RAM. Ideally, if you're doing content creation, so like editing and streaming, you want more than that. You need a bit of overhead so you can have your browser with your Twitch chat and YouTube chat, Kick chat, whatever, and then you have your game. So if you want to do content creation under ideal circumstances, you're gonna want more than 16 gigabytes of RAM. For the longest time, I'd done streaming with 16 gigs of RAM, but it was nothing truly intensive. I switched up to 32 gigabytes. And curiosity got the better of me, so I re-added my 16 gig kit back in for 48 gigabytes of RAM. It should be 48. Yeah, 48. And I was just blasting through things. It was great. But upgraded the rig to an entirely new platform, and bada bing, bada boom, 32 gigs. I sold some of my RAM and I'm just left with 16, which I will be keeping. Just in case. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed tonight. Tonight's made me kind of rageful. Not rageful. Mad. Upset. Not happy. Because the whole... Oh, you can't see that. Because of the whole goings on here with having to start again. After we got so far in and met the chick with purple wire hair. Boy howdy. Fun times. Anyway. Like I said, we're taking a break from Poppy until I can get the new rig up and running. Because I'm not playing through all that again. I don't have a need for it. As an experience, it is pretty good. Going through everything that we went through in its entirety. The puzzles are genuinely good. I just don't have a need to do it from the very beginning. Simply down to the fact that it's just unnecessary for me to do that. My save's on the other M.2 drive in the dead motherboard. Everything's all stored away safely for now. But no, without further ado, I hope you've all enjoyed yourself. Yeah, this has been GTAraj. Come back tomorrow for Pokemon Emerald, and then come back again on Friday for Forza Horizon 5's Community Night. Now, Community Night is where you can come and play Forza Horizon 5 with me. Take part. I will be playing with the Forza Horizon 5 community and anyone from my community that wishes to join in. It should be fun. At least I hope so, because the last time we raced with someone, they kind of rage quit. I don't know what their circumstances were. They joined for 2 races. They didn't show up for the 3rd, which is weird because the game still let me play through it on my own. Bit weird, that one. But Horizon 5 is coming to an end because Horizon 6 is coming out, and yeah, they're stopping the car pass stuff, which is interesting. They're not bringing out new vehicles for it. They just really want to get people hyped up for 6. So long as they fix the problems in 6 that 5 had, with like the really buggy tuning screens, where you tune your tire pressure and then your braking distance would randomly change an incredible amount. Your brake distance would go from like what 200 feet to like 500 feet in a freaking heartbeat. Well, not quite that drastic. I would go up to like 60 feet, and I'm like, no, that's not how that works. The AI is just not there either. So if the AI has been actually implemented / improved, there's no rubber banding, or they cut back on rubber banding at the very least, I will be happy. Anyway, this is GTAraj. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I know it's been short. We haven't really done much, but under these circumstances, I don't want to push through this way. I want to actually continue from where I left off. So until further notice, Poppy Playtime is not coming back until the rig's back up and running again, and I can jump in from where I left off and progress from there. Anyway, thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.